happy day because it's official. The 6th of September, Princess of Wales Theatre at the Toronto International Film Festival. It is EPiC! Elvis Presley in concert. Elvis sings and he tells his story like never before. It's not a concert film. It's not a documentary. It's EPiC.
Good to see you, Paul.
Great to see you. It's been a while, eh?
It's been a while.
13 years, I think. 2012 was the last time I think I saw you.
My goodness, that's a long time. It was very cool because I was there with my son in Memphis for Elvis Week, and you were there with your son as well. I don't know how we met, but we bumped into each other and hit it off.
I think I posted something on FECC. Anybody going to Elvis Week? And then you said I'll be there, and yeah,
it was very.
So we ended up meeting and then going out for lunch or dinner, and yeah.
Yeah, we were in Midtown Memphis somewhere. We always shared a passion for dating Elvis photographs.
Yes,
it's a big thing with us.
It is. By the way, I have, you can't see it here. I have the sweatshirt on from the movie. So
I love the T-shirt. I saw the T-shirt and I thought it was very cool. The white T-shirt with the black around it.
Yes, yeah. They weren't selling any. They weren't selling any of that stuff there. It was mock. They did as a giveaway for people at the after party to give them a sweatshirt.
Right.
So it's not available yet, but it'll be available soon enough.
Just before we get onto the movie, so you did this book.
Yes, sir.
Back in what, 2016 or something?
2017 it came out.
2017.
On the 60th anniversary.
How did it go overall?
Well, it's sold out. There's no more. It got really good reviews. Everyone liked it. Yeah, I love the backstage stuff there where he's just goofing around. My favorite is, I think, on page 218 or 219, if you take a look.
Oh, you know the page numbers.
Oh, I know. Because it's my favorite picture, 219, where he's just sitting there with his leg up with the Jordanaires, and the boys are, I love that one on the left by your right hand there. Yeah, I love that picture. Both of those. Yeah.
Very cool. I've always wanted to do a book. Because I need to do a video about it. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, but I've got about 57,000 photographs which I've actually dated.
Wow.
A lot more that I've not dated. Like the army ones are very, very difficult to date. Because he's dressed the same. But I would love to do some sort of book, self-publish, a kind of update on Ernest Jorgensen's day by day.
I'm just trying something here, just so I want to see, because that's good. Okay, because there we go. That's better.
Paul's on an iPhone 16 Pro.
Oh yes, I am on an iPhone 16 Pro. Let me just get that up a bit. Yeah, it was when I was looking at some of your videos, I said to my wife, I said, "Oh my God, look at that!" She goes, "Well, if you had your collection on a one whole wall," she goes, "it'd look like that." I said, "Well, I don't think so." I said, "That looks pretty damn. That's like a lot."
Actually, I have got a lot of stuff. I've got to say.
Yes.
Right. Let's talk about EPiC, Paul.
Sure.
So you were at the premiere, and the first thing you said to me on Saturday night or Sunday morning, you said, "I think you're going to love it."
Yes.
Which was music to my ears. I have been saying for some time to people, don't get too excited about new footage. Because I actually thought to myself, they probably used a lot of the best footage at the time for both That's the Way It Is and Elvis on Tour. I mean, why wouldn't Dennis Sanders use the best footage that was available for That's the Way It Is, for example?
Right,
so
right.
I thought maybe, there wouldn't be a lot of stuff that we hadn't seen. That seems to be the case.
Well, I would say, everything that you see is better than anything quality-wise that we've ever seen. I would say about 40% of the footage is new footage. 40-50%. It's hard to tell, because there's lots of lots of footage of them walking to the stage in August of 1970. on several different occasions that I haven't seen. The one but the other ones I've not seen. Other than, sorry, I shouldn't say we've never seen them. We've all seen them, but on various quality, bootleg versions of it on a DVD or something. But it doesn't look anything like what we saw at the theater that night. The quality of the 72 footage, the interview with the directors, we've only had that black and white grainy footage, and now it's in color. And I've said this ad nauseum since the premiere, was the thing that really impressed me the most was that 16 millimeter footage, which doesn't look as good as 35 millimeter, that's the way it is, was filmed on that. The 16 millimeter footage from on tour looks unbelievable. It looks amazing. But Peter Jackson and his team were working on that. And they did the Beatles Let It Be thing on Apple TV. Yeah. And you know how nice that looked, right? So
yeah.
But there's also footage of them rehearsing in March of 72. We're not rehearsing, where they're doing that mock studio recording there for the cameras.
Yeah.
And that looks beautiful. Everything from That's the Way It Is looks great. And there's the one little thing that I thought was kind of amusing, where he did the little tap shuffle with Sam before Sammy Davis Jr. was in the audience. And we've seen that before, but this was sort of not a distant shot. It was up close. It was sort of like just his body. You could see him doing it. It was crystal clear.
And the sound quality.
Oh yeah, the sound was explosive, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It was just fantastic. And Baz made a point of saying, when you hear Elvis, when you hear James Burton, Ronnie Tutt, Glenn Hardin, that's them. That there's no enhancements done there. He said a couple of places, I guess, where the orchestra was not as vibrant as they would have liked, that they did do some re-recording there on a couple of occasions. One thing I did notice, Oh Happy Day, you know how the quality of that has always been not very good. And it looked and sounded amazing. So I think there might have been a little bit more recording done on Oh Happy Day. I don't mean orchestra, I mean with guitars and drums and stuff, because it just sounds out of this world.
I saw that on the trailer, and yes, I mean they've added an orchestra, and also the hand clapping, but it sounds fantastic. And the one thing that a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, it's unfair to say that, but a few people have said that they don't like it when they mess with Elvis's songs. One of the trailers had Animal Instinct mixed in with Jailhouse Rock, mixed in with Dirty Dirty Feeling, right? Very Baz. And there was a few people saying, leave the music alone. I'm actually okay with it if it fits into what he's trying to do. I mean, even in the Elvis movie, the soundtrack, I really like the Polk Saladani, for example. They've exaggerated the bass. Burning Love's got a bit of an extra intro. I'm totally fine with that. Was there anything musically that stood out to you that you thought that didn't sound good?
No, it all sounded good. There was nothing there that was like, oh, what did they do that for? No, not at all. The only thing I did notice, and it wasn't bad, it was just I didn't know why they did it, was when he sang in the ghetto in the red ladder suit, they used the studio vocals for that, which I don't know why, but and probably most people wouldn't really have noticed that. But guys like you and me would notice something like that.
So Baz has been talking for a long time about how they found this footage in in Kansas City in the salt mine. This is exactly what Rick Schmidlin said 15 years ago, or however long it was. So did they find the footage and then put it all back, and then they found the footage again? Why was it not all left out in the first place?
Yeah, what wouldn't have been left out because it would deteriorate if it was, because those salt mines are like perfect conditions to keep it from deteriorating. So I would imagine once they were done using it when Smidlin did that That's I think 25 years ago when they did the second That's the Way It Is special edition, 2001, I think it was.
Wow.
24 years ago. Yeah.
I can't believe how time flies.
I know.
When I've been doing some of these videos, I did one yesterday actually, and it was like, oh, this was 22 years ago. It just felt like last week. I think the 1980s was last week.
Yeah. Well, even with the Toronto book that I did years ago, someone said, I said, no, that's like they said, that's 8 years ago. And it's someone said, oh, was that 5 years ago? No, I said that was 8 years ago. It's a long time. But so I think so that's why the footage went back into the mines, and it's not like, I mean, I know, but and they pulled it all out, and they've restored the 59 hours, so it's ready for distribution or to be used because it's all been restored, and they spent 2 years doing the audio
Which is
restoration.
incredible because I think that they found the footage but with no sound, and the sound must have been on different reels, and then they had
Yeah,
to sync it all up.
exactly. That's exactly it. And that was what Jonathan Redmond, the editor, was saying. That was a painstaking process, a
I
two-year
bet.
process, and to get it perfect. And they did, and it sounds, like I said, it sounds great. And again, I can't go on enough. The Hampton Roads, who, by the way, Hampton Roads, as you know, they've said they have that whole show from start to finish in the blue nail suit,
Yeah.
and the stuff that they used on in the movie looks great. It's just the colors are vibrant. The sound is great, and you can see his interaction with the singers and the band. It's just really a joy to watch. And
It's a
I've
fine,
mentioned,
it's a fine show. I remember the
yes,
the the directors of Elvis on Tour at the time saying that it was probably the best show of the tour, and they used a lot of footage from it. I will say, uh, controversial maybe, that Elvis is a little bit pale and a little bit puffy in Elvis on Tour on Hampton Roads. How does he look?
it looks much better. It looks much better. Yeah.
And when I say
They,
pale, you also have to remember there's a white light shining on his face.
yes, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, he looks great. My wife commented. My wife was with me, and I mean, she's been with me for 43 years, so she has heard lots of Elvis and appreciates Elvis, but was never a big fan. And she came out of that movie and she says, I think I'm a fan. She goes, I didn't want it to end. She goes, and he says, he sounds amazing. She goes, I didn't realize he was that involved in setting up the show and dealing with working with the musicians and stuff. And then she goes, and man, he looked pretty. She goes, he looks so good. She's talking primarily about the 70 footage, even the 72 footage. She just says it just looked just amazing.
We watched, my son and I were together the other night, and one of the trailers was on, and he just looked at, my son's a big Elvis fan too, and he just looked at it and he said, he's not normal, that guy. I mean that's kind of sums it up. I mean, he's really
Yeah.
something else. So looking at the movie, having a few days to sit and think about it, what is the purpose of the movie in your eyes? Whereas Elvis was a biopic, right?
Mhm.
This is not a documentary, as Baz says, this is not a concert film. What do you think the purpose of putting this out was?
I mean, maybe a bit tongue in cheek, but a bit not. But he was inundated daily from the fans when they found and said, "You need to put this out. You need to release this. You need to release this." And same with the editor. He said, "It's in my feed all the time." He says, it's Elvis, Elvis, release the footage now, release the footage." And they were just sort of thinking after they said, we've got all this, we've restored it, the fans want it. Let's see if we can do something here and put something out. And for a director to go from an Elvis movie and his next project is Elvis again is not, and that's not normally what happens.
Right, it's very strange.
Yeah, and Baz said it's just I did have a chance to talk to him, and he said the fans. He says I know that the fans want everything. And he says, and we thought we should at least try and put something together, something that would put as much stuff as we can to show what we have and show what we've done and highlight it, and that's what they've done. It was the purpose of it. I mean, part and parcel is just to, I think, make the Elvis on tour, or not the Elvis on tour, that's the way it is in Elvis on tour. People just sort of say, okay, leave me alone for a couple of years now. I've done this, I've put it out. But it's the general public that I think this movie will appeal to them. It's not just aimed at Elvis fans, because if that was the case, it wouldn't go anywhere really, because there's not enough Elvis fans to do it. And the general public, because that 1,700 people in the audience there, they're not all Elvis fans at the premiere and all the other showings. It's people go to these film festivals. They're movie buffs, and they want to see the latest releases, and they want to see the latest documentaries and movies and such. And I know Baz says it's not a documentary, and I mean it is and it isn't. I mean it is done like one. It's just there's no talking heads other than Elvis. It's completely Elvis narrating the whole thing.
That's great.
From start to finish. And they use his audio from '69 when he did the comeback. They used the Houston press conference from 1970, in February 1970. They used the Madison Square Garden press conference from June '72. And then they used the audio from July of '72 that he recorded, recorded with the directors, plus a bit of other audio footage, stuff that we're familiar with over the years. From the '50s and '60s is put in where it works. And one of the funny things is, I can't remember. I think it was something from the '50s, and the interviewer says to him, "Well, what you do is that considered music? Is it, are you going to go out and and Elvis goes, well, someone thinks it's music. I've sold 5 million records, right?"
I remember that.
And that got a good laugh from the audience. They thought that was a good answer.
That footage, that interview that he did, the backstage stuff with J.D. Sumner and all that. Is there stuff you hadn't seen of that before? Remember, we had it very grainy, black and white.
We had it very grainy, but no, it's the same stuff, but in pristine quality and beautiful color.
I want to ask you about Suspicious Minds, because I want to know. It seems to me that none of the songs are complete, right? None of the performances are complete.
I think there's 3 that are complete in the movie, but the majority of them aren't. And that was the other thing that Jonathan Redman, the editor, said. He says, we know the fans want the stuff complete, the songs complete. We have it complete. And that's the point, or what we would like to do down the road. If there's a Blu-ray release with some extras, we will put that out on there.
One thing that I find astonishing really is that on the That's the Way It Is special edition, they didn't use Elvis doing the shoulder thing at the end in Suspicious Minds, which was in the original movie, which is just so fantastic. And when any new fan or anybody discovers Suspicious Minds, or they review it on YouTube, they don't see that. And I wondered if that was in the new movie or not.
Because Suspicious Minds was pumping out of the speakers like you wouldn't believe, and the video, and they were going, but using various cuts from the different shows, putting that together, and it was like a highlight. People were stood up and started to clap and started to dance, and it was. I'm trying to remember, because there's so much that happened so fast. I don't recall. I mean, it may have been in there. I don't really remember, but he was moving all over the place when he was doing it, and it was just a really like a highlight, sort of like the climax of the movie.
I did read that, and going back to what you said, that the people in the audience weren't necessarily Elvis fans; they were movie buffs, movie critics, in fact. To have everybody standing on their feet, dancing, clapping hands, I mean, that's quite a statement to Elvis.
You're watching the movie, and there are people applauding on the film, right? Because it's all live shows. But then there are people applauding. Sometimes I couldn't tell, is that the audience in the theater or is that the audience on screen? And sometimes it was both. It was often both. And at the end, it was a big. Everyone just hit their feet right away at the end, and stood up and gave a standing ovation, and. And then Baz came out to chat with the audience. He actually did a chat before the movie and after the movie.
Right, I saw
with
that.
The audience. Yeah, and it's just to experience it, because I think you and I both never got to see Elvis in concert, And this was, and I've seen many things over the years, but I would say this is even the where they did the Elvis in concert with his band playing with him with the screen in the back, back many moons ago. I think this was the closest thing to it with the live performances. They were just
That's interesting. So you think that
stunning.
the feeling, the experience that you would get is the same as what we would have got when we saw the Elvis in concert with the TCB band? Is that the sort of feeling you
No,
would
I
you'd
think it's
left?
actually a little bit more. There was a little bit more electricity, a little bit more excitement. It seemed, not to take away, because I loved seeing the band playing with Elvis behind him, even though he was on a screen. When that was 25 or 30 or however many years ago that was now. But this was just a completely different experience. It was an immersive experience. It was just you were there in the thick of it, and yeah, it's you have to go see it when it comes. Oh, by the way, I don't. Oh no, sorry, you're in Cambodia. I was going. It is going to be playing at the Zurich Film Festival. I just found out. Some of my buddies in France mentioned it to me, and one of them is only 2.5 hours away. And he goes, "If I have to walk," he says, "I'm going."
Very cool. I really, really hope I get a chance to see it in IMAX. The problem with
Hmm.
Cambodia is, believe it or not, I'm probably living in just about the only country where nobody knows who Elvis is. There,
Really?
there is no knowledge of Elvis here. And that is because of the genocide that happened in the up until
Mm,
1979.
right.
So a quarter of the population was killed, and if you spoke English, wore glasses, were a singer, anything like that, you were just immediately killed. And the median age here is like 25.
Oh
So
wow.
everybody's really young. It's a really young country. So when Elvis came out, we have some fantastic cinemas here, but they didn't show it. So I had to fly to Bangkok, which is only an hour away. And I saw uh, the Elvis movie 3 times in the cinema there over three
Okay.
days. But one thing that I did feel was that the sound wasn't loud enough. Whereas here in Cambodia, if you go to the movie theater, your ears are ringing. Cambodia's blasted. And I just wondered what you thought about the sound. Uh, Comparable to the Elvis movie.
It was loud enough. It was explosive and not and in a good way. It was, to the point. Sometimes it was because the audience would cheer at certain points, and the music would just finish, and there was some conversations like with Elvis and the Sweets and the Imperials backstage. I couldn't quite pick up what they were saying because the crowd was just applauding for
That's
something
so
that had just
cool.
happened, right? So yeah, the sound was really, really spectacular sound.
That's
It was
fantastic.
lovely, lovely.
I saw a couple of things that really stuck out to me on. There's been some good reviews, and I would say
Oh,
that
have you seen the one from Variety? Variety was
yes,
like
really good.
uh, fantastic. I mean, the review was like perfect. It didn't have a critique at all. They loved it.
On some of the fan reviews, I noticed that somebody had mentioned there's Elvis doing Runaway,
Mhm.
which I've never seen.
No, no, no. That was Culver City. I'm pretty sure that was
Is
Culver
it
City
Culver City?
rehearsal.
Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
that's really exciting.
That is brand. That's new. Yeah, that's never been seen before. Yeah.
What's the footage of Elvis in the suite or something, and he's got his foot on a chair, and he tells Charlie to do something funny for the
Yes,
camera.
and he does. It's hilarious. I mean, Charlie just makes this. He asked him to do something. He makes this face to the camera, which made everybody laugh in the theater.
Is it
I
in
can't remember.
Elvis's suite? Where is it?
Yeah, it was. It's filmed in this. Where before, and that's the way it is. Where he's sitting there and he's got the pen. And he's tapping the pen
Right.
and going. I do a medley of costumes. That's where it was filmed. That same place. He's got a
Okay.
different shirt on though, so it's a different occasion, different time.
That's very cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that was nice to see, and the footage of the after party after the show in Vegas, where he's with Cary Grant and Sammy Davis Jr. That's in amazing quality, and they're a video and audio. You can hear,
I was going to
excuse me,
say,
hear them.
can you hear the audio?
Yes,
Right, because that was something that was. I remember Cary Grant saying something to Elvis along the lines of "You got to go out on tour or take it on the road" or something like that.
yeah,
But the quality of the audio was always very poor.
yeah. No, it was good. It was good, and the picture was. I mean, look, it's not a black leather suit. I'm not sure what it is, what type of material it is, but it just looks great. Just looks great.
It's funny because it always looked like a black garbage bag, right?
Well, yeah, that's what. Yes, yes. It actually, yeah, because it's got a shine to it,
Yeah, it's
right?
really shiny.
Got a very shiny. I don't know if it's latex or something. I'm not sure.
Latex. The one thing that Joel Weinshanker said at Elvis Week, which is which is great, was the fact that he said, we now have this footage. We now have it, so we'll be able
Mhm.
to, let it out bit by bit.
Right.
Hampton Roads, for being an example. So I love the fact that EPE have got access to new material that they're going to be able to use for projects. So that's really exciting. I
Yes, it
under,
is.
I understand the Richmond stuff was all stolen, and they don't have that.
Yeah. There was a I don't, excuse me, footage of him where he lay down on the stage in Richmond and looks up at the scoreboard, the scoreboard there that shows the scores for basketball and hockey games and stuff. You know, it's the big, huge thing, and they raise it up during a concert. So it's they can raise those things up and then bring it down for a hockey game or a basketball game. And he looks up at it and he's lying down and makes the comment, you know, that thing is huge, and if it falls down, he says, I'll be flatter than a pancake. And I don't recall if we've had that previously.
I've never seen that
I
before.
know we've heard it. We've heard it from the box that they came up, but we haven't seen it before. But yeah, Richmond is something that they don't. Yeah, they don't
They
have
don't have.
the full footage.
And the
But
other,
they are prepared. In my chat with the editor, he said, you know, we know that we don't have everything. There is footage out there in private hands, and if we're willing to work with people, if they're willing to work with us,
right. Yeah, you've got
so
to wonder, sometimes, I appreciate Elvis fans being collectors and collecting things, but at which point do you make a decision to share it with other people? If you have it and it just
sure,
sits in a closet somewhere, what is the point?
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think if you have something like that, it's meant to be shared. I mean, when those photos in our book there that Jean-Marc found at Library and Archives Canada, we could have just got a set for him, got a set for me, and just said thank you very much. That's great, but he said, what should we do? I said we should do a book. We should get this out there so everybody can see these.
That's
They've just been
fabulous.
sitting. They've been sitting here, you know. So I think that's what everyone. I mean, I mean, fans will do what they want to do, and I know they paid a lot of money for some of this footage, but it'd be nice
Well,
if they shared it.
maybe they can sell it and make some money as well.
They could do
Uh,
that too. Yeah.
yeah, just on going back to your book for a minute, one thing we also shared was an appreciation for Bruce Springsteen.
Yes.
And you managed to give Bruce a copy of the book, which was very cool.
Yeah, and it was nice. He took it, and I handed it over to him, and I just said, I don't want you to sign it, Bruce. This is from one Elvis fan to another. That's for you. And his guy with him went to go take it, and Bruce just tucked it under his arm and wouldn't let him have it, and walked into the theater with it. So
Very
I'm
cool.
glad I got it to him.
He never. I've only seen Bruce 3 times. I would love to see more, but he never comes to Asia. He'll
Yeah.
go to Australia, but he won't play. Singapore, Hong Kong, Bangkok. It just won't come to Asia, which is a shame. But let's not.
I won't tell you I've seen him 13 times, but some people have seen him 13 times on one tour. So I mean, 13
Sure.
is nothing.
If you see him again, tell him he needs to come to Asia.
Okay.
So there's no footage of Albuquerque. There's the footage of Elvis with the girl in the
Yes,
trailer.
that's there. That's there. The footage of the young girl that goes in the trailer to meet him, and he signs some stuff, and they have a little chat together. And it's very quiet. The quality of the picture looks good, but the sound is like Elvis was very quiet there, and so was she. So I didn't
Um,
really notice a lot of difference in the sound there, but it was nice to have that footage in that good of a quality, good quality.
Elvis actually talks very quiet anyway. I mean,
Yeah,
he does talk very quiet, and I always felt he looked a bit uncomfortable in that in that footage.
right.
And probably not knowing what to do or what to say. So I mean, it's
Yeah, yeah. Because a young lady like a young girl, and she's not going to be around.
yeah,
Yeah,
quite a difficult situation.
yeah.
Um,
Yes.
So you got tickets through Joel Weinschenker, did you?
Yeah, I was at Graceland on during Elvis Week, and August 15th there was a Conversations on Elvis, and I was there to see Peter Growling talk. But before that, there were several other speakers, and Joel was one of them. And at one point, he said he's talking about EPiC and stuff, and he says, "By the way, are there any Canadians in the audience?" And normally, there's lots of people from Canada travel to the U.S., but there's a lot less these days due to people not wanting to go down there because of the tariffs and what Donald Trump's saying and all that stuff. Because there was only about 8 or 10 of us that put our hand up, and one of the people beside me would put her hand up, and I didn't realize she was a Canadian until she did that. And he says, if you email me at joel@graceland.com, I'll do my best to get you tickets to the premiere on September the 6th. And only Canadians email me. I don't want emails from anybody else, and I'll check your passports if I have to. And so I looked at her. I said, email him now. Don't wait. And I emailed him as he was talking. And 2 days later, he responded, I got your email. I'll keep you posted. And we emailed back and forth a couple more times because it was, it was moving closer to the date. And I sent him an email once, and he responded to me within 1 minute with an answer. So I thought that was pretty impressive. And he was at the premiere, and I went up to him and just in person and said, hey, I said, hi, I'm the guy that annoyed you with a couple of emails, but I said, thank you very much for the tickets. I really appreciate it. So
nice. Angie Marchese was there as well from
Angie was there as well, and Alicia Dean was there, and Pat Dunn, and one other person who I don't recall. Well, not don't recall. I didn't know his name.
What was the after party like?
The after party was I had no idea I was going to an after
You
party.
got an SMS, right? Just to say that.
I got an yes, exactly. I got a text that said, "Hey, Paul, Baz would like to invite you to the after party." I go, Baz would like to invite me? How in the hell did that happen? Anyways, that all had to do with my son, who has friends because my son works in the film industry, and there's a few friends and friend of a friend and whatever, and they talked to Baz and had said, hey, this guy did a book, and there's some health issues, et cetera, and it'd be really good if and he said, invite him to the after party. I'd like to meet him. Well, I had no idea that this was done. Nothing. So we go to the after party. And I don't know, I see Angie and a few people there, so I chat with them and say hi. The rest of the people, I have no clue who any of these people are. They had a DJ and, cocktails and food and stuff. And about an hour later, it started at 9:30 and went till midnight. Baz shows up about an hour later because they were doing the IMAX. They were doing a test of the IMAX to see how the sound and the video looked. And so he comes to the party. Everyone's trying to get to him, and everyone was, he's like a magnet, right? And everyone's going over to talk to him. And I thought we should go over and say hi and, say thank you for the invite. And, but it was so many people going, we just sort of stood off to the side, and some guy comes up and he goes, are you Paul? I go, yeah. He goes, okay, just hang on here. We're going to get Baz to come over. He wants to talk to you, and we'll bring him over in a few minutes when he's done talking to these people. And he finished, and he went to head my way, and some other lady got in there, and they just whispered in his ear, and he turned around and came over to my wife and I and chatted with us for about 5 minutes, and we talked about what he had done, with the movie, and that thanked him for putting it out. And he says, it's the least I could do. He says, because the fans let me know every day that they want this footage. And he was just genuinely very personable, easy to talk to, and you could tell he was a fan. He just really he said he really enjoyed working on this project, even though it was because, first of all, he didn't have to direct it. I mean, they were just putting things together, and he said it was really fun to work on. And his collaborator, his editor for a number of years, Jonathan Redmond, worked with him, and they seemed to get off or hit it off. They get along great, and he just was a super nice guy to talk to. And
actually, we owe him a lot of gratitude.
We
actually,
do,
because the whatever people feel about the Austin Butler movie on how accurate it was and the portrayal of the Colonel, etc., and Elvis's life story, which really isn't Elvis's life story. What it did do was it introduced Elvis to a lot of new people. And from what I can see online, there are more younger people going to Memphis than there has been for quite a long time.
There
because
are.
it
It
was.
needed that infusion because we're not getting any younger.
Well, that's the thing. And I noticed like the last time I was in Memphis that I kept wondering how long this can continue because there was a lot of people not in the best shape and a lot of
Hmm.
people in their elder years, you know. But what I've seen over the last couple of years is a lot of new people coming in. And this new movie, I think, will do that. We have to remember that, as Pa Quimper told Toby in Follow That Dream, we are not the public.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we have to accept the fact that, yes, we want to see everything. We want to see all the rare stuff. But we also have to be aware that we're trying to attract people into the Elvis
Yeah.
realm. Do you think this movie will do that?
I think it will do it. Yes. Yeah. I think it will do it definitely. People, I mean, people need to go see it, and we need to make sure that people have access to it. But I think once people see it, and that's the thing with the word of mouth, once people saw it, there was a more of a buzz. And then when the reviews came out, and especially the Variety review, everybody was talking about this movie, and people wanted to get tickets, and people had to go see it. And
So
there's only
there's
5 showings during the week,
right,
so.
and there's no distributor yet. Nobody's picked up. But I did see Baz yesterday saying that he has now been approached by some people
Yes, yes. He says they've got how did he put it? We have people interested
adopting
in our
our baby.
yes, and they just have to pick who they're going to let adopt the baby. That's right, exactly.
So that's good news. I know that they were talking about doing something around the time of Elvis's birthday next year, but um, when you look at film premieres against releases, it seems to be a much shorter time. I think we actually might get it before that.
I think so. You're right. I suspect. I mean, my idea of timing would be a November release of the theatrical release of the movie, and then streaming and Blu-ray and stuff like that in January. And because Joel said was thinking about doing everything happening around January, but I think the theatrical release should happen sooner,
Yeah, well, it
based
doesn't make
on
sense.
based
It
on
doesn't
track
make sense, Paul.
records.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
also the hype is gone. If you wait till January, other things have happened. People get,
Yeah,
tied up with Christmas and they've already forgotten about EPiC.
exactly. Yeah,
So it doesn't
yeah.
make
They need
any
to
sense.
strike while the iron is hot.
And they need to, we need, what I'm just hoping for is it's a big name company so that I can go to Bangkok to see it.
Yeah.
It needs to
Well,
be,
if you want to make a trip, it's going to be at the Zurich Film Festival coming up. So, it's not. I don't know how far that is for you to fly to Zurich, but it's closer than closer than Toronto. So
well, it's closer than Memphis, that's for sure.
yeah.
So we've only got a couple of minutes left and this timer will knock me out. But uh, in a nutshell, Paul, your overall feeling as a fan as well, and realizing that this is going to expose Elvis to a new audience. What is your overall feeling about the movie?
I feel really good about the movie. I feel great about the movie. It's something that shows Elvis in a really positive light. It's fresh and it's vibrant. It's not like a staid old documentary where people are talking about Elvis. Oh, I remember him back in the day. It's Elvis talking about himself, and it's his music. That's what does the talking. The music does the talking, and it's just fantastic. The song choices that they've picked, and the sound. It's You feel it. You can feel it in your bones when you're in there. It's so exciting to sit through, to be there to watch it. I think everyone who goes to see it, unless you're half dead, this is gonna really you'll be very happy to see it, and you're not just an Elvis fan. The general public, I think, is gonna love it, and we're gonna get more. I think more fans will appreciate Elvis like they did after the other movie. We owe this to, I mean, like you were saying, the Baz movie from 2022. Well, this is where he got all this footage, and if he hadn't have done that movie, we wouldn't be sitting here talking today about this, about EPiC.
Right.
So we owe a lot to him and his team for doing this, and digital and restoring all this footage. It's like the Holy Grail is what I call it, but that's what the editors said. Not Richmond, Hampton Roads is the Holy Grail. It's a full concert from start to finish, he says, and I think they really would like to get that out there to us.
That's fantastic. Paul, listen, I need to leave it there, but I want to say thank you so much for first of all, getting in touch and letting me know how you felt about it, and agreeing to have a chat with me today.
Well, we should let people know it is Wednesday here at 7 o'clock in the evening, and you are Thursday at. Hang on, let me think.
Well,
here.
it's now 6 in the morning here. I got
6 in the morning. What time did you get up to do this?
I got up at 4:30 to do it.
Oh my! There you go. I appreciate it. Okay, Julian, it's great to chat with you. All the best.